It is difficult to forget the vibe of Amsterdam, but for fresh eyes, the city could even seem intimidating, with the crowd, the lights, the steep staircases, and bookings that are tricky to get. So, here's my collection of things that you can expect to experience, although I wish you do much, much more. The first thing you'll notice are sleek buildings with hook attachments, which are still used for transporting heavy stuff up the apartments. The blue trams are a hallmark of Amsterdam, gliding over the many bridges and river channels over the historic city. Which brings us to the first point of attention, the 18th century museum of Dutch arts called the Rijksmuseum. Not only is the building host to a million artifacts dedicated to the craft and history from the previous millennium, it is also the largest museum in Netherlands. Not only are the artworks super vibrant to still look at, they are being maintained by the museum as well as being digitally uploaded. And of course, the Red Light Museum welcomes its own audience, should you find your way to it knowingly or unknowingly. One thing I would definitely recommend is a boat tour with a guide and food accompaniments if possible. This time I was successful in booking a cheese plate and wine tour, which was a vibe unmatched. No words do justice to that
We've got
luxury.
a rosé.
And extra points if you score a funny guide on yours.
So clean. They can just. I've tried that bridge. It does work.
Look at them, they are many things, but they are not straight.
Inevitably, a couple of trips out for food can make or break your entire trip. So, I would recommend to space out your meals during the whole day and try out as many local cafes or delis that you can find. And yeah, definitely, you have to try the local craft beers like Avit or alcohol free drinks in bars. There's usually something for everyone. You can go hard on the sweet stuff too. There are a lot of bakeries and patisseries that come up with unique recipes. For the potato fries themselves, I suggest to have them as accompaniments to your meal in a restaurant somewhere because a lot of the dedicated fritures will likely be overcrowded and I personally am too impatient for that. You will, of course, never truly be alone, as the wise sages have observed since centuries where there is food, there is a pigeon. And these ones behind me were evidently enjoying themselves. Ultimately, I did too. One thing about me is that I will try to add a book to my collection every chance I get. And Amsterdam is no exception to that. I visited a few bookstores, some I even chanced upon en route to somewhere else, but I am glad I did since I found some new authors and poets to bring back home. And if you find yourself on a sunny weekend here, why not sit on a bench near a river and treat yourself a couple of pages? Look, don't ask me why I find some of these pictures artistic, they are according to me. Besides, as you walk around some of these touristic areas like Jodaan, Negenstraat, or Leenbaanstraat, you will undoubtedly find yourself something to stare at. And if you're brave enough to be around the Amsterdam center, you can visit some interesting perfumeries or restaurants or even some pop up shops. Of course, each come with their own customized bird territories. One funny motif around the city are these little stucco artworks on the building facades. Some are with planters or tile work or a creative illumination. I admittedly am more biased toward the houses that take the most sunlight and also have a great view of the city and the Amstel River, which also reminds me of the different decorative materials used in different pockets of Amsterdam, some more inspired than others. But I appreciate each one equally. Also, a fun fact that I was able to cover nearly 12,000 steps in a day without exhaustion. So, if you're worried about your cardio, fear not. Which leads us to the most scary news of this place, which is that it is actively sinking deep into the marshy ground. And although it is very interesting to look at the dancing houses, reminiscent of the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy, these buildings are standing on uneven ground because they were built on a swamp. This is likely why owning a houseboat here is just as expensive as owning a house in Amsterdam City. And while I summon my confidence on the longevity of certain buildings, I also appreciate the extremely big architectures that have survived over the years, be it the bell tower or academic institutions with intricate stucco designs. There is much to admire in these details. And couple this with the calmness of the nearby river channels, the city will put you at ease in no time. Also, a special mention for the building the Basel, which my boat tour guide crowned as the ugliest building of Amsterdam. Although I did condense my trip of a couple days into this video, I'd say a minimum of 2 to 3 days here makes sense, especially if you're into appreciating architecture, which takes us to two novel buildings of Fendi and Hermes. They are built with metal and glass respectively. Well, at least the facades. For Hermes especially, I was awestruck by the creative blend of the Dutch red brick and these special glass bricks. It is not only drawing attention to the brand that occupies the building, but also the smart brains behind it. A couple snacks as you walk down these exciting roads include the Dutch Gouda cheese, which comes in multiple different flavors. I personally recommend the pesto flavor. Then the stroopwafels, and honestly, any platter of fried food that you can find in the local bars here. They are always a good option. If you have some extra time to explore beyond the Amsterdam city, visit the NDSM neighborhood with its bold and bright artworks, many times with free exhibitions. And further away towards the outskirts, Zanziskans. It is a true delight in understanding the Dutch history and culture. Then we come to the souvenirs to take back home. And if you can, do pick a bag of some tulip bulbs. We have them in the dozen here, so why not? If not, the best souvenir that you will return with are the memories themselves. Those random street views, cats by the sill, judgmental birds, funny posters, the traffic lights, and golden sunsets over the city bridges. And if you're there, I know you'll find it hard to forget, let alone say goodbye to.